In this video, I'm going to try to browse out to the OPC server that's included with DeltaV, and I'm basically going to just talk about how to actually do the connections and then how to browse tags effectively within the OPC server within basically DeltaV. Okay, so here I have the DeltaV Explorer open, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate down to OPC UA Server, and I'm going to see some names, some connection names as such. And the one that I'm interested in here is this OPC.TCP guy. And if I give him a double click here, what I'll see is that there's a name on him, and then effectively there is a port number as well. Right, and then what I'll see is some security settings, and effectively you can authenticate with known users that are set effectively through the user manager in DeltaV, but here I just have none, just for the cases of this here. So effectively we can go off and basically authenticate in that way. And I have this application here called APP OPC UA Explorer, and effectively what this does is it takes a browse on a machine over a network to see what OPC servers are basically available. So here I'm going to just put down APPC3, and then this was the port number as it was just kind of shown basically up here. So if I go display list, there'll be an error because it doesn't like the HTTP guys, but effectively this is what it will work with here, where it says opc.tcp. So the connection method in that way, and we're going to leave it as anonymous just for the moment. So I'm going to go and do a connection and we'll see a certificate that's being given from the server, and that's basically an Emerson DeltaV certificate as such. So I'll accept that, and then we can see that we're actually after being connected. So here I can then browse the actual individual tags. So if I go up here, what I'm going to see is that I have an area, and then basically we're going to put a focus in on this particular guy here, the guy that ends in 009. So he's representative of this particular valve right here on the kind of the HMI PNID screen. So basically I'm going to go off and I'm going to navigate off right to him, and you'll see that it's basically the same as the navigation up here. So they're very, very similar when you actually go off kind of browsing. And if I go off, I'm going to take a look here at this particular aspect of the block. So this is again the 009 guy that's opened, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a value to this RecSP guy, and also then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at this valve out. So this is basically what you're telling the valve to do. You're telling the valve to open or close, right? This is kind of like a 0 or 1 logic here, and then effectively this is what it's received. Has it actually received the value or not? Kind of within DeltaV. So that's the kind of logic that's there for it. And if I go off, I can get this guy 009, and I down here, and I can basically click on this RecSP and the CV guy. And basically what I'm going to do there is I'm going to see this thing called node ID. So OPC UA and the terminology associated with it, there's a specific type of naming convention as such. The term node ID is probably better to use than the word tag, right? So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to just do a copy, and then I'm going to go into tag read and write. So I'm going to click in here, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a read on it. So I can see that he's 0 at the moment. Okay, so what I'll do then is I'm going to literally go and I'm going to literally copy him in here, and I'm going to write a value of 1 to him, right? So I'm going to do a value to write it, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a look on my screen, and I can see that he's just opened, right? So then what I'll do from here is I'm going to do a read, so I can see that the RecSP has literally, you know, he's basically he is what we told it to be. And here what I'll do is I'll do a 0, and I'll do write, and then I'll see in real time the valve is closed. Okay, so if I wanted to go off then and actually go online to the actual block as it's actually downloaded as such, right? What I'll see here is values that will appear, and this is specifically inside the control module. Let's do a read. He's 0. Let's turn him back to 1, and then we can see he's after basically turning on again. Okay, so effectively what I can do then is I can go back and I can take a look at the valve out guy, and he's obviously saying open at the moment. So if I go back here, I'm going to take a look at valve out, click on him again. Let's just do Control C here. Then we'll go back to tag read write. We'll go to here, Control V. Let's do a read. He says 1. Perfect. So let's write to the RecSP guy. We're going to go 0, separate item altogether, right? There we go. He's gone back. Do a read, 0. Okay, so this application is very, very handy, and you can do kind of multiple kind of reads and writes and so on, basically kind of over the network. But the purpose of this was mainly to effectively show the connections that would occur. It's pretty straightforward in certain respects. Kind of everything's easy when you know how, but that's how kind of communication would occur basically with the server. What I want to do the next day is I'm going to do one on the OPC UA client, and that's effectively where many PLCs, as an example, they actually have their own inbuilt OPC servers. So how would you integrate a piece of equipment that has its own inbuilt OPC server effectively on it, and then you bypass those protocols? And maybe what I might do then is actually just discuss the concept of client and server certificate exchanges, and just kind of focus in on the actual the security here. Thank you very much.